So last week we talked about how God wants people to participate in His work to expand His kingdom. We talked about how God expects His people to care for others, and that God's Spirit comforts us but also convicts us. Do you guys remember that phrase that we talked about last week? That condemnation is from the. It's been a week. Condemnation is from the accuser. Conviction is of the Spirit. Okay, it's something that's really stuck with me over the years, just because it's a good reminder to me that when I get that overpowering guilty feeling coming over me, that's probably more Satan trying to work on me. If there's that convicting feeling, and it's probably God trying to work on me and say we need to work on this. But that we kind of wrapped up last week saying that just as God constantly provided a message of hope alongside His message of judgment, our message to the world needs to be a message of hope as well as the need for change. So this morning, to start off with, I want to talk about kingdoms, heavenly versus godly kingdoms. All right. So what is the difference between a heavenly kingdom and a godly kingdom? What are some differences? Or that should say worldly or godly, not heavenly or godly. That's my mistake. Okay. So, all right. So worldly and godly kingdoms.
Worldly can be idols.
Idols? Like what?
Like anything you put out to worship.
Anything in front of God. Okay. What else? What are some differences between worldly and godly kingdoms?
Worldly is temporary.
Okay. Temporary. All right. To give us a little bit more definition here, how do you advance a worldly kingdom?
There's an army.
There you go. Okay. I couldn't tell what you said at first. Yeah. Army, right? Military might. Conquer. All right. How do you advance God's kingdom? Yep. Okay. Spreading the word. What?
Holiness.
Holiness. Okay. Holiness. Which holiness is really going to get into compassion, love, serving. I mean, because holiness is all about becoming more like God, who is holy. And so if we're going to do that, then we're going to be acting more like God in all those ways. So how do you govern a worldly kingdom? How do you maintain a worldly kingdom?
You can.
You can't? To a certain extent, yeah. Yeah. Hey, guys.
How do you?
So how do you at least try to maintain or govern a worldly kingdom?
Through fear.
Okay, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes fear. Okay. What else? Hint, it's in the box.
Government.
There we go. Okay. Definitely have some people that govern or maintain their government or their kingdom through fear. North Korea would definitely fall under that category. Government, so the process of actually going through and putting people in charge and such. What?
I was just thinking of a quote that we heard throughout the week of the people, for the people, by the people.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an important question right here. Is America a democracy?
Sometimes.
What is a democracy?
People. Rule, basically.
Yeah, rule by the people. All right. Is America a democracy?
Yes.
Yes. No.
Raise your hand.
Mostly it's a republic democracy.
There you go.
Sometimes.
So I'm not correct.
America is considered a democratic republic because we vote in people and those people rule, and so that it's not just a majority vote. All right. A lot of the ancient scholars didn't like the idea of democracy because it was basically mob rule when it breaks down. Okay. Hence why when people were looking for names for a new boat in Britain, they got Boaty McBoatface. All right. It doesn't always end the best way. All right. So, any other ways that a worldly kingdom governs or maintains itself? What about God's kingdom? How do we govern or maintain God's kingdom? Huh?
To love.
Pretty much. Okay. What does Jesus say to the disciples when they were sitting there trying to argue about who's the greatest?
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay, that's one thing he does say. He doesn't exactly say it right
The
there.
servant.
Yes, the greatest is the servant, right? They're sitting there at the Last Supper arguing about who's going to be the greatest among them. And Jesus is sitting there looking at all of them going, not one of these people has picked up the towel to wash their stinky feet. And so Jesus gets down, takes off his cloak or whatever it is, and actually wraps a towel around his waist and goes and actually starts washing the feet of his own people. And he's like, I'm your master. I'm your teacher. I'm the person that you're following. Yet I'm the one washing your feet. Take a hint. Don't let power and authority get to your head. He tells them another point about how the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over their people. They brag about it. They kind of oppress their people to an extent. Don't do that. You need to serve each other. And so love is the way that we maintain God's kingdom. What about who's the ruler in a worldly kingdom?
The president.
President?
President.
Okay. Could be a
Vice president.
no
King.
king. All right. Could be a
Please.
okay queen. Yeah. Could be a
Say it.
That is true.
Dictator.
dictator. That's what I was looking for. Dictator. All right. All right. Yeah. Who's the ruler of God's kingdom?
God.
Yes. I mean that's easy.
J-O-D.
J-O-D?
G-O-D.
Oh. I was like, man, we're gonna have to start working on spelling over here. All right. So these are just some of the basic differences here between a worldly kingdom and God's kingdom. Okay. You advance a worldly kingdom by military might. All right. You go about your process by trying to conquer everybody else. And we don't see that as much today because most of the territories are already claimed. But we still try to advance our nation through economic means sometimes. There's a lot of ways that kingdoms try to expand themselves by economic means today. They try and operate through fear sometimes, or just by sitting there and passing a bunch of rules and laws to make things work. God says, love each other. And God says, continue to draw closer to me and try and live the way that I've called you to. All right, so we're talking a lot about kingdom stuff right now. And the reason being is point number one here. As Jeremiah is approaching the people in Judah and Jerusalem, he's constantly telling them, Babylon's gonna come and Babylon's gonna destroy this kingdom. And what was their response? Treason! They sat there. Thanks, Weston. They sat there and basically said, "How dare you say that our country is going to be destroyed? How dare you say that this country is going to fall?" And they hated Jeremiah. They took offense to Jeremiah's claim because he was speaking against their country. All right? Does that sound like anybody?
Obama.
I don't even know how that would tie into what we just said. Sounds like the Jews, doesn't it? Because Jesus is sitting there going up to the people and saying, this temple is going to fall. This city is going to fall. And the chief priests and the teachers and all these people hated that Jesus would say that. In fact, the people themselves sat there and hated Jesus for saying that because this was their country he's talking about. And they had a lot of pride in their country. And so the thing that we have to remember is that when we get overly concerned about our physical country, it's time we start asking how serious we are about our heavenly country. When we start getting too wrapped up in the things of this world, it's start asking questions about just how committed we are to God's kingdom. Because you can only put one thing as your first priority. When you start getting so concerned about protecting America and making America great again, when your concern becomes more about America than it is about God's kingdom, you've got a problem. And we got to fix that. All right? One reason I wanted to bring this up this morning was because I saw this sign recently. And we're going to break this down a little bit. Okay? What's the problem with this picture?
The 3 crosses.
Depends on how you're looking at the picture, yeah.
What's
Lions.
across the crosses?
Airplanes.
F-8.
F-16s
Don't say that.
on a bombing run.
Over the
You know they're on the bombing run?
Well,
What if they're just going, hey?
They fly them.
when Jesus died on the cross, was there a 21 gun salute?
No,
No.
that would have been cool though.
How does Jesus want us to advance his kingdom? Bombing the tar out of anybody that disagrees with us?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
When Jesus died on the cross, did the American flag tear in two?
No.
No.
Of course.
This kind of stuff drives me bonkers. Because it's associating God's kingdom with America. And I've got serious problems with that. You want to say God bless America, that's fine. But you better darn well be ready to say God bless England, God bless China, God bless everything else, because God's concerned about all his people, not just dadgum America.
God bless.
Problem number 2. God shed his grace on thee only if you pray America will become Christian again.
Sure.
You can pray for America. That's fine. You can pray that America becomes Christian again. I would argue that it's debatable as to whether or not America ever really was a Christian nation.
Exactly.
But absolutely pray for America. I don't have any problem with that.
Pray for the other countries too.
Exactly. Don't just sit here and pray for America. Listen, pray for America to make America great again. Gee, whose tagline is that?
Make America great again. What happened to helping out? I mean, I know that we're like almost at war with North Korea, but like, pray for them that they see God's love. Don't be like, pray that America beats North Korea. Like,
Yeah.
beats
Guys, we should not get excited when other people die. We shouldn't get excited when we see other nations get destroyed. That's not good. That should be something that makes us sad. Because it breaks God's heart. Alright?
Just out of curiosity, who's PACA?
PACA is this group that put this whole thing together, and you're going to see the last part of their plan in the next slide or picture.
Just curious.
Yeah.
And that total last statement is totally non-correct.
Originally conceived and designed by the founding fathers. Right.
Yeah. That's completely unfactoidness. I don't even know how to explain that.
It's
It's not a fact.
there you go. Look, the thing that is, yeah, sure. You can have pride in America. That's fine. But when your pride for America supersedes your pride for God's kingdom, that's a problem. All right. So this is their steps right here. This is what they intend to do. They basically intend to have people join in their plan. Yeah, simple as the Texas two-step, right? That's great. Nice.
Wow.
So their plan is to get people involved in their program to vote in Christian leaders and to take back the country through government.
That's not Christian.
Which one is that?
Worldly.
We don't legislate faith. I can't emphasize that enough. Every single time that God's people have tried to legislate morality on the rest of the world, it ends terribly. And our witness gets destroyed because of it. When your worldly kingdom becomes more important than God's kingdom, we got problems, people. And I'm not saying that this is you guys. I'm just saying when you start to see this in the people around you, and if you do end up seeing it in yourself later on. Heck, I know when I was in high school and then even in college for a while, I got way more involved in politics than was healthy. And I called people awful things. I really don't care about politics. Because I really don't care about this kingdom. I care about God's kingdom. And every single time that we have tried to do this, it ends terrible. Don't focus on a worldly kingdom. Focus on God's. Alright, this morning let's go ahead and read through Jeremiah chapter 26. Alright, I think we started on that side last week, so we'll start on this side.
Yeah, really.
Huh?
Oh, man.
That's alright. Let's see, we got 24. Are we out of Bibles?
I gotta kick you. There. Don't dump for that one. No, don't dump.
I'm not done.
Just pop it. I'm screwed.
Alright. Let's start here with Maddie. We'll do, yep. Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim, yep.
That is a funny name.
It is a funny name. Let's go ahead and do 2 verses each. Start with Maddie, work our way around. No, we started on that side, because Trinity, unfortunately, read so many verses.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Right. Yeah, so, when Riley finishes, we'll jump over to Elizabeth.
And then Jeffrey.
Yeah, he's back, and we'll go to Jeffrey. If he's not, then just skip. Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's let Maddie start.
Early in the reign of Jehoiakim, son of Judah, Josiah, king of Judah, this word came from the Lord. This is what the Lord says: Stand in the courtyard of the Lord's house and speak to all the people of the town of Judah who come to worship in the house of the Lord. Tell them everything I command you. Do not omit a word. This is what the Lord says: If you shall listen to me, follow my law, which I have set before you, and if you do not listen to the words of my servant, the prophets whom I have sent to you again and again, that you have not listened, then you will make your course like
Shiloh.
every city and office, especially among all the nations of Israel. The priests, the prophets, and all the people heard Jeremiah speak these words in the house of the Lord. But as soon as Jeremiah finished telling all the people everything the Lord had commanded him to say, the priests, the prophets, and all the people seized him and said, You must die.
Why do you prophesy in the Lord's name that this house would be like Shiloh, and the city would be desolated and deserted, and the people crowded around Jeremiah in the house of the Lord? When the officials of Judah heard about these things, they went up from the royal palace to the house of the Lord and spoke their faces at the entrance of the new gate of the house of the Lord's house.
Then the priests and the prophets said to the officials and all the people, This man should be sentenced to death because he has prophesied against the city. You have heard it with your own ears. Then Jeremiah said to all the officials and all the people, The Lord sent me to prophecy against this house and the city and all the things you have heard.
Now therefore mend your ways to your deeds and obey the voice of your Lord, and the Lord will relent of the disaster that you have pronounced against you. But as for me, behold, I'm in your hands. Do with me as seems good and right to you.
Be assured, however, that if you put me to death, you will bring the guilt of innocent blood on yourself, and on the city, and on those who live in it. For in truth, the Lord has sent me to you to speak all these words in your hearing. Then the officials and all the people said to the priests and the prophets, This man should not be sentenced to death. He has spoken to us in the name of the Lord our God.
Some of the elders of the land stepped forward and said to the entire assembly of people, Micah of Moeshech prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah. He told all the people of Judah, This is what the Lord Almighty says. Zion will be plowed like a field, Jerusalem will become a heap of rubble, a simple hill, a mound overgrown with thickets.
Did Hezekiah king of Judah or anyone else in Judah put him to death? Did not Hezekiah fear the Lord and seek his favor? And did not the Lord relent so that he did not bring disaster he pronounced against them? We are about to bring a terrible disaster on ourselves. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Uriah, son of
Shemaiah.
from
There is.
Kiriath Jearim,
Oh,
was another man who prophesied in the name of the Lord. He prophesied the same things against this city and this land as Jeremiah did.
When King Jehoiakim and all his officers and officials heard his word, the king sought to put him to death, but Uriah heard of it and fled in fear to Egypt. King Jehoiakim, however, sent Elnathan, that's good, son of Lochbar, to Egypt along with some other men.
They brought Uriah out of Egypt and took him to King Jehoiakim, who had struck him down with a sword, and his body thrown into the burial place of the common people. Furthermore, Ahikam, son of Shaphan, supported Jeremiah, and so he was not handed over to the people to be put to death.
all right. Did you guys see anything in there that you thought was verse 13? Okay. What about verse 13?
He says, now obey your enemies and obey the Lord. Kind of like turn your life to
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
Hayden?
no, sorry, Hudson. What translation were you reading from? Just read verse 13 again for us, because that's particularly the part about like men or something.
Now therefore, men,
Yeah.
E-N-D,
Men, what? Keep going.
mend your ways,
Men your
and
ways.
deeds, and obey the voice of the Lord your God, and the Lord will repent of the disaster that you have pronounced against you.
Okay. And I'm sorry.
ESV.
ESV?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it was mend your ways and what?
Mend your ways, deeds, and obey the voice of the Lord your God.
Okay.
And the Lord will repent of the disaster that you have pronounced against you.
Okay. Yeah. You knock the drink over? All right. All right. So yeah, as Maddie was saying, sorry. Here you go.
Oh.
Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't think about that earlier.
Oh my god. Wow.
I was looking for paper towels, and I'm like, maybe I should have a roll of paper towels in this room.
Sorry, say it again.
The worldly and the godly have a
Yeah. Yeah, and hey, what, just for everybody, what do you mean by that?
like, you know how certain people like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, you know how we have like a president?
Yeah.
And a king?
Uh-huh.
Well, some people put voting as God.
Yeah.
So we can turn our ways to God instead of them.
Yes, exactly.
In the government, we can, instead of having the government, we can just go love.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so if you're starting to notice that you're more concerned about a worldly kingdom and you're more concerned about who's president or whose party is in control, then reform your ways and focus back on God. If you're sitting there too focused on trying to legislate your faith onto everybody else, stop it.
Okay.
Don't govern your government, love and serve others. If your idea is to focus on trying to advance America or whatever country you guys end up landing in, don't. Your concern is not the political agenda. Your concern is advancing God's kingdom through service and compassion and love. All right? Yeah, that was good. Okay. Anybody else?
11 through 16, where they changed their minds throughout what he had said.
Oh, where the crowd changes their mind? Yeah. Where the crowd changes their mind. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. So the focus for this morning is in verses 13 through 14 here. Now reform your ways and your actions and obey the Lord your God. Then the Lord will relent and not bring the disaster he has pronounced against you. As for me, I am in your hands. Do with me whatever you think is good and right. And one thing that I love about this passage right here is that Jeremiah has not changed his course of action. He's not changed his message. He's still telling them, even though they're ready to put him to death, I don't care, reform. Fix your problem. Get your lives straightened out. Start acting like God would have you act. And then he ends it with, as for me, I'm in your hands. Do what you want. You guys can kill me. You can put me in prison. You can leave me alone. I don't care. I'm still going to tell you the same exact thing every day. In fact, at that point, he was probably looking forward to being killed by them because they had already done tons of other terrible things to Jeremiah. And he was probably sitting there thinking, if you guys kill me right now, I don't have to worry about the Babylonian invasion. That's your problem. You know? I mean, and so he really didn't care. And that's kind of the outlook that we have to take as well. Is we have to continue to spread God's message no matter what. God's message, not America's message, not the Republican Party's message or the Democratic or the Libertarian or whoever else. Our focus is God's message. Alright? So the message for this morning is God's people can have hope for the future in good or bad times because the goal isn't peace here, but reunion with God. Alright? A lot of people get so worked up in our world today because they're concerned about how our country is doing. Alright? They have this very big concern about our country's finances or our country's military strength or all this other different stuff. We don't have to worry about that. Because our hope isn't advancing America or making America great again. Our hope is God and being reunited with Him in the end. We don't have to worry about all this other different stuff. Huh?
So you didn't have that part, but it has it at the end and it's already filled in.
Which part?
Reunion.
Oh, yeah. I did?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Oh man, that's a bit more tired than I thought when I made this one.
I think
Okay.
this sermon needs to be like internet famous. It needs to go on.
Okay. Alright, so today is Fourth Sunday potluck, so no youth activity tonight. Next week we've got boom ball, flag football, and s'mores at Willow Bend. We're going to meet directly there at 5 o'clock. The food is going to be done by Garland and Leslie, so be looking forward to that.
I have no idea. I didn't know they were doing food.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got your parents to sign up for that because I missed out at the Sand Hills and I didn't want to miss out again. So remember also tonight, try and bring something for Reese for her surgery that's coming up next week or this week on Thursday. Pens and pencils, yes. Put them back in the box, please.
I'm watching Kobe on this.
Oh, okay.
Are we doing the same color or are we doing what color are we doing?
That's a good question.
It's our favorite color to like work with, but that'd be kind of hard to do.
Let's do
Yeah.
black ones.
Okay. Alright, let's do this. Let's say either pink, something pink, or something red since she goes to Dora. Alright, pink or red. Alright? Something pink or red for Reese tonight. Kit Kats would be an easy thing.
Okay, no one's like
Whoa.
cat of cats.
Alright,
Going.
that's it for this morning. Love you guys.
Wow, I think you're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Got it.
No, I am.
Shove 'em.
It's not mine.
Here so we can see the pencils under here.
Yeah, I dropped your pencil down there.
Oh,
Ah!
no.
Yeah.